Fellow countrymen, 2 years after Madaraka Day, our founding fathers adopted sessional paper number 10 of 1965. It was entitled African Socialism and its application to planning in Kenya. This was the vision document for our young nation and was full of dreams for the future to come. It envisioned a Kenya with an Africanized economy, an economy largely locally owned, whose industries were producing for regional markets, and in which technology was the light and heat of commerce. A nation that drew from itself for itself. This dream was further articulated by Jaramogi Oginga Odinga in his book, Not Yet Uhuru, that was published in 1967. The central theme of this book was that independence was not complete until the economy was in the hands of Africans. Jaramogi envisioned a Kenya that was unapologetic about its Kenyanness, a Kenya that could stand on its own feet in a world unfriendly to the African people, and a Kenya that is capable of enterprise and development in fields beyond our shambas. Then there was Tom Joseph Mboya, one of the other founding fathers, who echoed the dream. In his book, Freedom and After, he reminds us that great things are made of a series of small things, and that the making of a nation is the work of many small events and transitions, many small failures and successes. But Tom Mboya's main reflections were on constitution making. Having been involved in the Lancaster constitution making process in the 1960s, Mboya cautioned the nation against constitutional rigidity. In particular, he argued that the Constitution cannot be useful to a country if it is an end in itself. A good Constitution must be responsive to the aspirations of a nation and be a means to a greater end. And if the political architecture provided by a constitution cannot support the growth and progress of a nation, that constitution becomes a cancer to the body politic. On his part, the founding father of the nation, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, imagined a free Kenya as far back as the 1930s, while at Manchester in the United Kingdom. His dream is painted in his books, Facing Mount Kenya, as published in 1938. And in this dream, he cautioned us that the seed of freedom will only take root if our mindset is focused on the right thing. In the business of building the nation, he warned that we must not focus on what has been done, for our focus should be on what remains to be done. And this is so because it is natural. Every time one target is attained, a new one becomes necessary and urgent. The right mindset is therefore a critical plank to making a dream come true. But Mzee Kenyatta made other assertions in his prison notes published in a book entitled Suffering Without Bitterness. Reflecting on his struggles while in prison, Mzee said that if hope will sustain you through fire, faith is greater because it enables you to leap over the fire. The act, therefore, of imagining and building a nation from the bottom up must therefore be an act of faith. and faith according to him is the act of letting God know your intentions, but taking charge of the methods necessary to achieve them. Fellow Kenyans, our founding fathers left us with deep teachings and convictions, and now we must summon the teachings as we reimagine our nation today. We have achieved the dreams of the founding fathers as captured in sessional paper number 10 of 1965 and revived in sessional paper number 1 of 1986. Further, I believe we have made admirable progress in the implementation of our own Vision 2030 as my administration implements the Big Four agenda. But truth be told, that this vision comes to an end in 9 years. So the urgency for a new vision, a new dream, is therefore real. Like Kenya in its 50s, the Holy Bible required nations to hit the reset button every 50 years. On the 50th year, we are told, all debts were forgiven, slaves were set free, and all land was left unattended. This action brought renewal to the soul of the nation, healing to the land, and a fresh vision to its people, and they called it the Year of Jubilee. But for us, fellow Kenyans, to craft this new dream and to prepare for the next great leap forward, we need to finish what our founding fathers had started. And this is what we set out to do in our quest to uproot the remnants of ignorance, poverty, and disease in our midst. This inspired my administration's transformative agenda for the nation, the Big Four. And allow me just to give you only 3 examples of unfinished business started by our founding fathers and which we today are endeavoring to complete. The first one is infrastructure, the backbone and the enabler of any economy. And by this I mean roads, rails, ports, and so on. At independence, we had only 1,800 kilometers of tarmac road. This is what our colonizers had built in 78 years of their occupation between 1885 and 1963. This means that all their endeavors for 78 years, they only managed to tarmac a total of 23 kilometers a year. After independence, our founding fathers built an extra 11,200 kilometers of tarmac roads over a period of 50 years. This was about 10 times what the colonizer had done. But with better technology, planning, and efficiencies, my administration has built 1,000 kilometers of tarmac road every year. That is 44 times more than what the colonial administration built, and more than 4 times what the first 3 administrations built collectively per year.